Are you looking to produce events on Zoom or a virtual event in the coming future, and you want to know how you can level up your setup as a Zoom producer or virtual event producer? Well, I have three tools that I have used time and time again that have helped save me time and just made me feel more efficient in my virtual setup when it comes to producing events in Zoom and in the virtual world. So stick around. I'm Logan Clements, freelance event producer, and I do want to remind you to like, subscribe, turn on that little notification bell so you hear every single Monday when I drop new videos. I love talking about everything virtual event, in-person, production related, Zoom tips, and running your own business. So if any of those sound like they're up your alley, I do encourage you to subscribe. If you have any comments or questions throughout the video, drop them down below. I love hearing from you. So without further ado, let's get back into it. All right, so maybe it's your first virtual event, or you've been producing virtual events for a long time, but you're looking just to incrementally improve your setup as a producer. Now, I will say I have an entire video that I will link above and below about ways to level up your setup as a speaker, but often when I'm talking about producer, I'm saying someone who's behind the scenes. You might not necessarily be on camera getting heard by the audience, but you are someone who's helping be the puppeteer, the master behind the scenes, pulling the strings and making sure everything runs smoothly. So these are three things that I've used on a daily basis when I'm producing virtual events. My first tool has to be my headphones. I'm going to link to these, and there's a lovely picture right here that you can look at of them. But I love them. They were recommended by another producer, and they have just saved my ears. I've used some different headphones, I've used AirPods before, but the beauty of these is for whatever the decibel setting on them is, it has to be really low, which is lovely because I feel like I'm saving my hearing. It's also got a great microphone on it, which is my other pro tip always. Make sure whenever you're using headphones, they have a little microphone box. But they're really comfortable. They go behind the ears, so they're a little bit more, and they're nude colored or brown colored, so they're kind of hidden in my videos. But I love to use these on all of my calls and when I'm actually listening and producing the virtual event. So I encourage you to invest in some comfortable headphones. I did an event last month that I joked I had the most audio inputs that I had to have for an event. I had three things. I was trying to listen to two backstage channels as well as a third room. And so I had one headphone in, one other earbud in, and then I had my over-the-head DJ headphones listening to my third audio channel. So making sure that you have good headphones that are comfortable. It can be something that you're going to have on all day. So I can't recommend those more. My second tool that I love to use is my Stream Deck. This is a mini, I believe. I will fact check myself, but I'll link to this one below. It's their smallest version they have of Stream Deck, but what essentially it is it's hotkeys. And so these are little shortcut keys that I can link to different functions in Zoom on my computer. I love it. And the main reason I love it, and my streaming engineer friends will laugh at me for confessing this, but honestly, I have a hotkey on here for screenshots. It's amazing. I have a Mac, and to screenshot on my Mac, it's a 3-key process, and sometimes I hit the wrong thing. And by using my Stream Deck, it is literally like a push of a button, and it takes a screenshot. So this is lovely for any virtual event producers if you're trying to take group photos during a Zoom call or Zoom meeting event, or maybe just screenshots of what you're doing. This will be your best friend. You can also plug it for recording, for playing music, for doing other functions on your computer. So if you're someone who really gets technical, having something small like this, just 6 keys, you might need more than that, but it's a great starter point. So I highly recommend it. And my third tool would be, which I don't have my main monitor on me right now, but would be having a second screen. And so second screen can mean everything. For me, it's an iPad. But for some people, it can be an actual external monitor, or I have a monitor that attaches to the back of my screen and extends out and is a second screen. And the reason I recommend this for virtual event producers is your screen is your real estate. So the more screens you have, the more real estate you have to be able to see all of the things. So it depends on exactly what your tech setup is for your event. But for example, in Zoom, if you're the one sharing the slides, it's a lot easier having 2 screens because you'll have one screen where you can have your slides in full screen and you're telling Zoom, capture my full screen here. And then on the other screen, you're able to still see into the meeting or into the webinar, have the chat open, be able to click all the Zoom controls. I'm not saying you can't do it off of one monitor, but honestly, having 2 has been life-changing. And even if you're someone who's starting small with a tablet, having a second screen like this just allows you then to have a second device in your meetings. or the last virtual event I did, we had multiple things happening at once, so I could have one session on my computer, another session on my iPad. So investing in that second screen is just going to help you improve your setup that much more. And what would be a video without a bonus tip? I will say, I know I talked about how for virtual producers, often you are backstage, you're behind the scenes, no one is looking at you, so you don't necessarily need the same tools as a speaker. But I will actually say, if you have a nice microphone, camera, lighting, all of that, it's a bonus. Nothing has helped me convince people more that they should hire me to help them with their virtual events and coaching their virtual event speakers than having a good setup myself. And so I have that whole other video that you can look at about my tips as a speaker, but my secret sauce, my ring light. My ring light here. I know these were selling out really quick during when COVID first hit, but I cannot recommend it more. I think this one I have is like $20, $30. And so any ring light, I'll link to this specific one down below. But why I like it is because events can happen at any time with virtual events. In person, you probably were confined to whatever time zone you were in because you physically need to be there. But with virtual events, I've worked events at 1 or 2 in the morning my time. Or I've had calls at weird hours with clients in different time zones, and having that ring light just helps it so that I'm not relying on my natural lighting from my window. I'm not relying on harsh overhead lighting. It's just great and just made me feel very confident that no matter where I am or if I'm on the road or traveling, I will always have good lighting. So invest in it. You're not going to regret it. Again, my 3 tips for tools that you should use as a virtual event producer: really good headphones. Your ears will thank you. Seriously, just from a comfort level, and the ones that I have that I use, the decibel level, I think it's saving my hearing long term, which is great. My second would be a Stream Key or a Stream Deck. Stream Deck, I love little hotkey buttons. It just makes my job a little bit easier when I'm trying to do multiple things at once. And my third one is a second monitor, a second screen. If you can have an actual second monitor with you or a tablet or anything, it's just going to give you more real estate to be able to cover more of your virtual event, which is awesome. And then again, my bonus was the ring light, because that will just help you look professional on any and all of your calls. So I'm Logan Clements, freelance event producer, and this has been another installment of my favorite tips and tricks when it comes to virtual and in-person event production, running your own business, event planning, anything and everything under the sun events. And I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll talk to you guys again next Monday. Bye.